Biden gave his son an extraordinarily sweeping pardon for any and all crimes he committed, may have committed, or even merely been involved in at any point in the last 10 years. Trying to explain his decision to Americans, President Biden made a personal appeal. He said this, quote, "I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision," he said last night. Understand? Americans might, though they'll have to be forgiven for thinking that all of this was off the table.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
I could speak for the president, and he said he would not pardon his son.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
Secondarily, for the part of this country, half of it that doesn't support Biden, doesn't know him personally, doesn't get to have phone calls, and they're just looking at a system that seems like it only benefits the people who are in power.
I'm going to say,
what precedent does that set?
Well, here's what it sets. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem.
You're really going to compare Trump to Hunter Biden? You're really going to compare Trump, who doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't even smoke anything, right? Doesn't do cigars, doesn't drink wine. You're really going to compare Trump to a crackhead, to an elite, right? Spoiled, wields his dad's power. You're really going to compare Trump to Biden. And your similar situation, what? Taxes? Really? I mean, you ladies on The View can't even tell anyone what these charges are that Trump is being charged with. You really, you guys do a lot of, you omit information. You omit a lot of information.
Who knew what he was doing, who clearly stood and said, I can do this. When we're talking about who gets a pardon and who doesn't get a pardon, this man, I think Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. So the question is, will people understand? Listen, I get it. I mean, we got a convicted felon as president.
Yes. Yes.
All right, now, Whoopi, tell us what he's been convicted of.
It's hard for me to...
I agree. I'd find it really difficult, too, considering there's no evidence. It's all accusation. It's all hearsay, but no evidence.
Of course they're not going to understand, because for years while y'all went after Trump, y'all said nobody's above the law. Mm-hmm. In fact, Biden tweeted this: nobody's above the law, while they were persecuting and going after Trump just because his name is Donald Trump and that's your political opponent. No one is above the law. And look, they got fact check. On December 1st, 2024, President Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, for crimes covering nearly 11 years of offenses against the United States, which he has committed which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024. Look at that. He didn't just pardon him for 2 crimes. He pardoned him for a blanket 11 years, which started when Joe Biden was vice president. That's crazy. 10% for the big guy. Joe Biden's son exploited his dad's power in the government to make money overseas and didn't even have the courtesy to pay taxes on it. That's one of his crimes he got pardoned for. That is nuts. And not only that, the reason why he pardoned over that 11-year time span is because he knows Trump is going to office. He knows his son is going to be thoroughly investigating. Everything that was on that laptop is going to come to light. Yeah. Now they can't touch him because he's pardoning him. Yeah. And when you listen to The View, they said, no, I understand. I said, no. What is it you understand? Think about what you're saying. His son was a career criminal from the time his dad was a vice president. Yeah. When we call out these things about Trump, he's being politically persecuted, right? He's being politically persecuted. You look at the cases against him, you know everything about him, those 34 felons, is all hogwash. Yeah, it's bogus. It's bogus charges. The rape charge, the civil case, it's all hogwash. Everything against Biden can be proven without a shadow of a doubt. Everything's in black and white. You have video, you have emails, everything can be proven. Yeah. He's not being politically persecuted. He's just being prosecuted. If Trump's not running for president, he's not in court. He doesn't have 34 felonies thrown in his face. Yeah. Let's keep this going. These people, man.
I kind of feel like I look at the list of folks that you know who pardoned during the first term. He granted 237 acts of clemency, 143 pardons, and 94 commutations, including Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Charles Kushner, Steve Bannon, George Papadopoulos, Alba Pirro, and Lil Wayne. Everybody.
I forgot about Lil Wayne.
Yeah. And Lil Wayne. So it is the president's prerogative.
It's funny how biased she is. She chose mostly white men and then Lil Wayne. But how come she didn't choose the diversity of people that he had pardoned and granted clemency to? You'll notice in my list of people that Trump has given a clemency or pardon to, all but one are minorities. First and foremost, we have Alice Marie Johnson. Alice Marie Johnson basically was in possession of cocaine. She was given life plus 25 years in prison. One of the harshest prison sentences that anyone has received for a non-violent offense.
I went to prison in 1996. They sentenced me to life plus 25 years. I didn't need a life sentence as a first-time non-violent offender to learn a lesson, but I had to keep going because I knew that I was going home one day. I look at my freedom totally as a miracle from God. I had spoken at Mike.com. Someone who Kim Kardashian follows retweeted that video, and she tweeted out, "This is so unfair," and it went super viral. Kim Kardashian and President Donald Trump, they were on 2 totally different ways of thinking, and they came together for me. It starts with us talking to people, putting all differences aside. Who knows? We may be able to save a life also.
Right. If you total it up, it was like, I think about 106 kilos of cocaine that she was, sorry, I have notes here. It was attempted possession of 106 kilograms or kilos of cocaine, and then also money laundering. Another one is Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the first African American or black world heavyweight champion boxer.
This guy was the godfather of not giving a f***, and I think everybody should know him. Jack Johnson would get his start competing in what were known as battle royales, where young black men and teens would fight in a free-for-all while blindfolded as the bougie elites tossed coins at whoever was left standing. At the time, black fighters weren't allowed anywhere near the world title, and that didn't sit right with Jack. After winning what was called the colored title, Johnson would follow heavyweight champion Tommy Burns all over the world to demand his shot. Burns finally accepted the fight when a rich promoter who saw the money in the fight offered Burns more than any fighter had ever been paid. Unfortunately for Burns, he also happened to be the smallest heavyweight champion in history, and the fight was a massacre. He sadistically toyed with him, even would hold him up as he landed brutal combinations on him to prolong the ass beating. Johnson really rubbed it in over his 7-year title reign. He drove the top-of-the-line cars, he wore the nicest clothes, and he really liked white women. Even married a few of them, which America was really not down with back then, which led to him always kind of being on the run and exiled to other countries.
I know I'm bad, but he was crazy.
Congress has supported numerous resolutions calling for Johnson's pardon. Went through Congress numerous times. No president ever signed it, surprisingly. They thought it was going to be signed in the last administration, and that didn't happen. So that was very disappointing for a lot of people.
What? Not even the Black Messiah, Barack Obama? That's crazy, y'all. But y'all still look up to this guy. Barack Hussein Obama. The first black president. He should have signed that pardon for Jack Johnson. But even he didn't pass it.
These resolutions enjoyed widespread bipartisan support, including from the Congressional Black Caucus. The Black Caucus supported it very, very powerfully, very strongly, but they couldn't get the president to sign it. One of these resolutions passed Congress as recently as 2015. Jack Johnson was the first black heavyweight champion, and he was the heavyweight champion for many years. He was pretty much unbeatable. In light of these facts and in recognition of his historical athletic achievements and the contributions to society, he really represented something that was both very beautiful and very terrible at the same time. I believe that Jack Johnson is a very worthy person to receive a full pardon, and in this case, a posthumous pardon.
But I'm very happy that I was here at this historic day for Mr. Johnson and his family. And I think it's going to weigh a heavy weight around the world that this actually happened, and everybody will thank you, and I'll thank you as well.
I think it's great when a great champion, who in theory doesn't have to worry about somebody from the early part of the century, I think it's great when a great champion comes to honor and even press that another great champion be honored. I think that's a great thing.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's a great thing. Now, you know, everybody knows Sly, and what a job he's done. I tell you what, I love his movies, and I don't care if it's Rambo or Rocky. I still don't know which I like better, right? But Sly is a special guy, and he's more shy than you would think. So I won't even tell him, but if you want to say a word, you can, Joe. Sorry.
Well, no pressure here, right? No, I want to thank you, Mr. President. It's incredible that you've done this, because it's one thing, I've been so blessed with the Rocky situation and playing that character, and actually, when I was writing it, I'm thinking about inspirations for this Apollo Creed, and that was Jack Johnson, this bigger-than-life, incredible character, and who was, treated so unfairly. His prime was taken away, but somehow he still managed to persevere and kept a smile on his face, and he's truly an inspirational character. So this has been a long time coming. Of course, Linda, thank you very much. It was so amazing. Probably I don't know how many blood relatives are left, but you're like the one that really, really fought for him, and I appreciate that. So it's an honor to take kind of a fictional character like Rocky and do something in the world of reality, and thank you for making that happen. And punching, Jack.
This was beautiful. You let me know in the comment section, did you know that this happened during the Trump administration? But the media wants you to believe that this man is a racist. You cannot make this up. God bless you. Trump 2024. Catch you on the next one.
Jack Johnson went to prison for crossing state lines with his white girlfriend. which at the time, women weren't allowed to go over state lines. Then there was Angela Stanton King.
When it comes to President Donald Trump, I want to say this because a lot of people accuse this man of being a racist. And I just want to say that I met President Donald Trump working on criminal justice reform. I too was one of the ones that said, no, I don't want to go talk to that man. I don't know him. He hates black people. Well, that's what they said. And so they said, well, Angela, he's working on criminal justice reform. You have a story. Many of you may or may not know that I served time in a Georgia state prison. And while I was serving time in that prison, I was pregnant. And when it was time for me to deliver my baby, I was transported to a hospital here in Georgia by a police officer, and I was chained to a bed, and I was forced to give birth to my baby with a sheriff watching for a nonviolent crime. Also separated from my family for a nonviolent crime. But you know, the Democrats said we only supposed to fight for the family separation at the border. They forgot all about the family separation in the border. They want Trump to apologize for the CP5, but they ain't demanded that Joe Biden apologize for the '94 crime bill. But that's something else. I had a story. They told me that this man was a racist, but I had a story, and I knew that if I could use my story to convince this man that there was a need to reform our criminal justice system, then I would do that. I wasn't going to be worried about emotions. I wasn't going to be worried about the media. I wasn't going to worry about the naysayers. I was going to go in with my story and see if I could make a difference. I found myself sitting in front of President Trump in the Oval Office, and I shared my story. This is the man that they told me was a racist. I don't know. I'm scared to death. Is he going to hang me? I don't know. Is he going to call the KKK the way that the media has portrayed it? I'm in a danger zone. Just so happened that he heard my story. Not only did he pass the First Step Act, but he also made it illegal for them to chain women to the bed during their childbirth. This white man that they told me was a racist, they told me he hated black people. So not only did he just sign one of the most historic forms of criminal justice reform legislation to ever hit this nation, overturning the '94 crime bill that massively incarcerated black America, freeing nearly 20,000 people to this day. The First Step Act. I sat in the Oval Office with a lot of criminal justice reform advocates. I saw Kim Kardashian on the front page taking her pictures. I saw Alice Johnson. I saw Louis Reed. I saw Van Jones. I saw Jessica Jackson. I saw, what's her name? Vivica Fox. I saw Isaiah Washington. But I don't see any of them here today. A lot of people want to take a lot of credit for being criminal justice reform experts, criminal justice reform advocates, but to tell the truth, you didn't free nobody. Trump did. Kim Kardashian had the nerve to put up a tweet to say free Gunna. Gunna is a YSL rapper tied to the Young Thug case, charged with RICO, the same DA, the same charges. You put up a tweet and say free a known gangster in Atlanta, Georgia, but you won't put up a tweet and say free President Trump. And the only reason you getting any credit for freeing anybody is because President Donald J. Trump signed the papers. As a criminal justice reform advocate, somebody that's grateful to President Donald Trump for giving me a second chance, giving me an opportunity to run for Congress by clearing my record. Somebody who was completely oblivious to the corruption that happens in Atlanta, Georgia. I just wanted to do something for my community. I refuse to be silent. Not only will I stand for Atlanta, Georgia, not only will I stand for America, not only will I stand for the babies being aborted in the womb, not only will I stand for the mothers that choose life, I'm also going to stand with President Donald Trump.
Angela went to prison, Georgia State Prison, for conspiracy to transport in interstate commerce a stolen vehicle with an altered VIN number, meaning she tried to scratch a VIN number. Another one that stuck out to me, which I thought was the most ridiculous, is Cesar Lozada. Cesar Lozada in the state of Florida went to prison for conspiracy to distribute marijuana. Susan B. Anthony, one of the most celebrated women in the United States, Susan B. Anthony went to prison for voting.
Back when women weren't even considered citizens, this is the woman famously remembered for being the first to vote in America, for which she was jailed and tried. November 1st, 1872, Susan B. Anthony organized a group of 50 women to attempt to register to vote, claiming that the 14th and 15th Amendments, which enabled formerly enslaved citizens to vote, made so legal for her too. But remember, she's not legally a citizen. Nonetheless, she and 14 others managed to register, and November 5th, she and 7 others enjoyed the satisfaction of dropping their vote into a ballot box. All 14 women were arrested, and when the deputy federal marshal called on Anthony and asked her to accompany him downtown, she asked what for. To arrest you, he said. Is that the way you arrest men? No, he said. Then I demand that I should be arrested properly. She alone refused to pay bail and received the following indictment: that the said Susan B. Anthony, being then and there a person of the female sex, did knowingly, wrongfully, and unlawfully vote. Her trial was set. Susan goes on tour, traveling the county of the trial, educating and lecturing on suffrage. Her prosecutor began to get pretty worried, so he convinced the judge that Anthony had prejudiced all potential jurors for the trial, and they moved it to a new location. They were afraid of her. They were afraid of educated citizens. What did she do? She launched another lecture tour in the new location, giving speeches every day until the trial. But it didn't matter. In the end, the judge violated her right to trial by jury by directing them to find her guilty. One newspaper quoted a juror, "Could I have spoken, I should have answered not guilty, and the men in the jury box would have sustained me." Enraged, she made her best speech ever, I'm gonna post it right now, and then had 3,000 copies of the trial's proceedings printed and distributed. She lost, but she was now a martyr. She would never again enjoy the pleasure of voting. Woman got the vote 14 years after her death with the 19th Amendment.
But wait, to all the women who said that if Trump becomes president again, that all your rights will be taken away.
Am I like not living in the same America? Like, what rights did we lose as women? Somebody please tell me, because I can still go out and vote. I can still get married, get divorced. I can still have as many kids as I want. I can still have an abortion. I can be a CEO of a company. I can start a business tomorrow. I can drive. I can fly. I can run my mouth. I can date women, date men, whatever the hell I want to do. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what rights did we lose as women?
Because he doesn't like women. Well, here you go. And then there's Desiree Perez.
Trump also pardoned CEO of Roc Nation, Desiree Perez. Perez is a music executive who has close ties to Jay-Z and has been one of his most trusted business partners since the 90s.
But wait, Hillary Clinton, or at least Bill Clinton, couldn't pardon her? And then Barack Obama couldn't do the same thing? But yet Jay-Z was constantly using his star power to promote these two Democrats. But Trump's the one who pardoned her?
She was born to Cuban immigrant parents in the Bronx and She started her career running a cell phone and beeper company. She started doing promotions for a nightclub in Washington Heights and ended up managing several clubs by the late 90s. In 1996, she booked a young Jay-Z to perform at one of her clubs and has been doing business with him ever since. She helped him open the 4040 Club in Manhattan a few years later and was brought on to be the COO of Rock Nation in 2008. She became the CEO of the company in 2019 and was named Billboard Music's Women in Music Executive of the Year that same year. Perez was arrested in 1994 for drug possession and again in 1998 for grand larceny and possession of a firearm during her club promoter days. Desiree has mainly stayed out of the public spotlight despite the high-profile associations, and the details of these charges are not entirely clear. But the White House acknowledged that she has made a considered effort to turn her life around, and therefore, the crimes have been wiped from her record.
You know what? They used to just pardon people who are victims of a corrupt justice system. That's why that pardon was there for.
Yeah, like people getting life plus 25 years for a non-violent offense. First time non-violent offense. Meanwhile, you got this blatant disrespect over here. Blatant disrespect for the laws in this country. You put it out there, put it on social media. All the evidence is there. But your daddy gets to bail you out.
You know, people can say, oh, why are you doing that? But that's what presidents do every time. They do it every time they pardon somebody. So I'm not sure why the pearl clutching is happening now.
Where is the evidence that Alice Marie Johnson had 106 kilos of cocaine? I can show you the evidence of Hunter Biden having 20.7 kilos of cocaine. Evidence is there, y'all. Evidence is there, and yet, and Whoopi wants you to believe that, oh, well, this should be no big deal.
Except that that's what folks want to do. But it seems kind of foolish. He kind of knew he was going to do it, given all that's happened. But maybe I'm just kooky.
Now you get these people doing all these pardons for people they know and who they have had business relationships with. Now they're doing it because they're being politically persecuted. Yeah, just like all those names you ran off. Yeah. All those people were politically persecuted because of their affiliation with Trump. That's the only reason. But you leave out a lot of context when you discuss these things. Yeah. It's so disingenuous when I listen to y'all. It's like, I can't believe this show is still on TV. Y'all just, you lie by omission. I guess I'm just kooky.
You have a piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation, you get nothing other than 5 years in jail.
I went to prison in 1996. They sentenced me to life plus 25 years. I didn't need a life sentence as a first-time nonviolent offender to learn a lesson.
Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes, you can, the government can, take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law. Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law.
of a bitch.
No one's above the law unless your last name is Biden. It's your boy King Churro. Thank you for watching. Remember that you're loved and remember to be great every day because tomorrow is never promised. Peace out, y'all. Remember, no one's above the law.
Every day you wake up, you got a decision to make. To go right or left, up or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right.
ATM, bro.
Well, what happened, Mo?
It's not taking my card, yo. Yo, I got 5,000 on this shit. What's going on? Yo, what's up with my card, yo? You just trying to take my card? Yo, what's up with the ATM, bro?
What you mean, what's up with the ATM?
Yo, bro, what's up with the ATM? I want my bread. Yo, what's up? What's up with the... Come on now. What?
You try it already?
Oh, it's the wrong one. I gotta get the other card. Yeah.
What's that, bus?
Nah,
Bus
it's
car?
a bus card. But I thought my... What, you trying to say something funny? Excuse me, so I got my ATM card?
I ain't got it, Mo. Mo, you can't use this in here.
Let me
You can't use this.